Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Fauzan.
I'm Sarah,
And welcome to the 13th episode of Intertwined. So today we want to talk about trust.
What about trust?
Trust is very crucial when it comes to marriage and any sort of marriage and relationships in general.
Like, how is it that I'm able to trust you when you go out to go to work?
Yeah. How is she able to trust me to not flirt with other people or have a different relationship? As a certain celebrity said it, have an entanglement outside of our marriage.
Celebrity.
It's a Will Smith.
I didn't know about this.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, really. The trust is very crucial because we've seen a lot of marriages suffer when there's no trust. You'll just be suspicious all the time. Sekali when sekiranya, the husband comes home, the wife can be like, where were you? Or vice versa, the husband can be like, where were you? Why are you late? Why are you 5 minutes late? And even those things can cause speculations. Yang indah muna sampah. Today we'll explore in our 5 years of marriage. We will talk about how we managed to establish that trust. Usually when it comes to trust, especially to married couples, it usually deals with the other gender. That could affect the relationship. It could also be parents, but mostly it comes from interaction with the other gender. So how is it that I'm able to trust you? For me, I can safely say the fact that I proceed to go into marriage with you was because I knew that you were committed to the deen. That in itself gives me a sense of security because he is committed to the deen. He chose the people around him carefully. So the people he hangs out with are, alhamdulillah, orang yang baik-baik. He also brings himself as someone with integrity. Jadinya, I know that individually, I can uphold you to your own relationship with Allah, your commitment and responsibility as a Muslim. So saying that, we also know that as humans, we all sin. Each of us sin every day. There's something that we do. We sin in the terms of actions, the words that we say, or even in our hearts. Knowing that memang manusia tidak akan lepas dari melakukan kesilapan, it could turn out that in our day-to-day interaction, we could be attracted to the opposite gender.
So talking about attraction to the different person than your spouse after marriage, we're talking real here, right? Correct me if I'm wrong now, guys. I don't think there is a guy out there after their marriage doesn't have some sort of attraction to other women besides his wife. I'm not talking macam attraction mana-mana, but like
just a slight.
Yeah, even like just a slight ataupun, it exists. But it's a thing that's happening and it's a constant unjian. Just have to be careful with that. What you really want to look into is, as he said, the action afterwards. Even if attraction is there, but if you have your iman, so then like barrier.
You have taqwa. Taqwa is God consciousness. So you carry that along with you. So if you're conscious with God, you're also conscious of your actions, kan? Yeah. So much if you know, satu, you have a wife at home, but at the same time, you don't want to sin. So just by at least the few points alone, macam, okay, I shouldn't go further into this attraction. Because, like, goodbye, attraction. Yeah.
Especially when you have to interact with the person, you really have to be careful to not exceed the boundaries. Sometimes you don't realize it. You could like just be in denial that you're doing it out of, that you have to do it. Tapi sebenarnya you've gone out of boundary. So really have to be careful. So it's always going to be an ongoing, it's an ongoing challenge and ongoing ujian, but you get, pahala points for overcoming it. So
sometimes because of a slight attraction, you tend to go like stalk your IG and then maybe try to get their number, and then you start off with an innocent conversation.
Well, trying to get their number too, belum sudah ada. That's
really bad. Yeah. Tapi there's so many ways this innocent attraction could flourish. Tapi tapi yang penting you do not nurture or let that flourish. I don't want to delve deeper into it, but ada juga Rasulullah SAW, he saw a woman and he balik rumah. Sebenarnya, before you get married, you see your future spouse ni as like this ideal or perfect person. Tapi sudah you married them, you start to see all the weaknesses. And as you go out, you tend to see that the grass is greener on the other side. Kan? That's why the other people are more attractive, more. I just saw a quote recently which is so eye-opening. People think that the grass is greener on the other side, but the grass is greener where you water them, right? Mind blowing kan. So you have your marriage, you have your spouse, you water it.
It depends how you water them though. You shouldn't overwater plants or underwater them.
So balance. Before marriage, because individually, we were striving to be someone who is more God conscious, and we still are. That really gives a higher sense of security, basically.
I think this is where it's important, and this could be going off topic a little bit. But this is where I think it's important to keep that marriage alive, to be on fire. And to always try to spice things up. Because as humans, we get bored easily. That's why macam when di surga nanti, there's always something new experiences to have.
Yeah, that's true. So,
yeah,
put the relationship on fire. Not literally. I think also carrying yourself, the moment you walk out of your house, you need to if you're married, you need to carry yourself like you're married. Don't carry yourself like you're someone single. Yeah, because sometimes I see people carrying themselves like they're just single, tapi benarnya they're married. So it gives room for people to think, satu, you're single, and then dua, there's a chance, kan? Yeah, so really just close all the doors that could lead to fitnah. You said in terms of male lah, tapi I could say the same for female. And we might not be attracted to people we see at work, tapi benar, we're just exposed to so many dramas. These actors, the male protagonists ni mostly yang ideal version, flawless skin, great. And I get it that we watch dramas just for entertainment purposes. But yeah, sometimes we tend to really idolize this person. So, I've seen video pa Ute where ada soalan yang a husband sent to him yang cakap katanya, my wife likes this Korean actor so much that even wallpapernya is the Korean actor. If I were the husband, I'll be like, satu comparison lah, or maybe akun dia handsome is Korean actor. But to the point of making it as a wallpaper, I think...
Yeah, I think when it comes to celebrities, they really should have some sort of boundaries as well. You gotta have respect for your spouse. Putting someone as your own wallpaper, even if it's like you don't have any chance, but yeah, to be with that other person, it's kind of a no.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine sekiranya you are the wife doing it. What if your husband is the one putting on wallpaper or some woman? We just want to reflect on what we do and we don't want done to us. So we shouldn't also do it. So it takes two to tango. Jadi attraction itu fitrah. Tapi the actions are the one that will be questioned nanti. Jadi knowing that you are the person who is striving to commit to the deen, it just gives me a sense of security lah. So if you go out, I trust where you go lah. But at the same time, I also know that iman ani naik dan turun. That's where I also play a part where we remind each other, I'm also not perfect and my iman is not up here all the time. So being able to ensure that you keep your 5 daily prayers, you baca Quran, sama-sama mengingati lah to ensure that there's harmony. Have you seen the marriage triangle where in the top itu it's Allah, and then the husband, and then the wife? So the closer the husband and wife is to Allah, the better their relationship will be. And the further they are to Allah, that's where macam their relationship pun macam makin jauh lah.
It was definitely a wise decision for me to look for someone who is practicing Islam as one of the criteria. We're not guaranteeing though that a person who is religious, a person who prays 5 times a day, that this person wouldn't commit the sin of like cheating or like flirting with other people. But for me, there is less chance.
Likelihood is low.
Nowhere. I'll take all the chances lah. Yeah, although I didn't have that in mind dulu pula. Tapi it's more like after marriage, it kind of just falls perfectly.
It counts a lot with the communication that we do, our interaction with each other. That also counts lah. Bukan saja, you know, you go and do your ibadah, I go and do my ibadah, and you don't care about anything else. But other factors play a role as well. Another thing that we also practice is that we're able to check each other's phones without needing to walk on eggshells. If I were to check his phone, Fauzan doesn't marah me, and if he checks my phone, I also don't marah. It just means that we're able to be open about what we keep digitally as well. And for me, that's very good lah, because I've also heard when spouses tend to hide things on their phone, it's very sus kan, very suspicious. Like, are you interacting with someone else? What is it in your phone that that you're watching that I can't? But it's not like all the time that I have to scrutinize your phone. Just the act of me taking his phone and he's okay with it.
It's more to you not hiding anything from your spouse. But as Sarah said, you shouldn't be checking your spouse's phone all the time, but like do it sparingly. For me, there are a few conversations that I can't really share, especially when it has to do with someone else's secrets. You also just have to be careful when you're checking your spouse's chat. There are also times when I don't want her to check my phone. For example, like when it's close to the anniversary and I'm, contacting vendors to get stuff.
I wanted to take his phone, like YouTube from your phone. That was the week before 24 June, our anniversary, or even way before. Kali, he said, don't check my phone until July.
I mean, any wife would be expecting something pula for the anniversary.
I'm like this.
That's kind of basic. You probably were, but you just didn't know what was going to happen.
He slipped a few times and he was looking at, some funny YouTube videos and he wanted to show me. I looked last kali afterwards, he's like, hey, you cannot see my phone. Which you're the one who showed me in the first place. Definitely there's, for example, me and my girl's conversation. If they had to me, I wouldn't want you to read it. But in the cases, macam if I'm driving, I need him to look at the location in my phone. I don't go like, hey, there's something in my phone that I don't want him to read. We're able to trust each other to look at each other's phone and see the proper information that we need. I believe the major one, especially when it comes to trust, Ani, is when we're both working, it is a different workplace, or even if it's the same workplace, I don't think you in that environment where you're in the same department. Generally, you're not exposed to your spouse's colleagues all the time. So you don't know these people, or you just know on the surface level. When it comes to this, that's where I think people are more prone to either being jealous or suspicious in the interactions with the other gender.
Prior to our marriage, one of the things that Sarah had to disclose or basically just tell me was that she is working in a male-dominated field, and she asked how I felt about it. I'm a pretty chill guy, so I was okay with it, I guess.
The reason why I asked that, pasal I know there are certain husbands yang panar-panar cannot see their wife interact with the other gender. It doesn't mean I disapprove of those kind of husbands. You're fine to do what you want. But for my own husband, I would like this husband of mine, in my head back then, to be able to support me working in a male-dominant field. Yeah, I've heard a lot of marriages just took a downfall when, there's accusations about their spouse's interaction with the other gender. For me, one way to combat it is, kalau ada work events that we're able to bring our spouse, like family day, iftar during Ramadan with colleagues, I would bring Fauzan and introduce him to my colleagues. It's a way for me to let Fauzan know who my colleagues are, how they are, introduce them. If sekiranya Fauzan were to disapprove of me interacting too much with a certain person, I would like to honor his wishes lah.
Yeah, but so far in the plan that.
Shout out to my colleagues. So in the past 5 years of our marriage, Fauzan has changed his job for like 5 times, from freelancing to Al Muyassar, Dimension, Indra Motors to JPMC, and now he has a new job.
It's like a new job every year.
It's like a new job every year. basically his colleagues change kan, and I also have to know who the colleagues are. During our first 2 years of marriage, where when he had female colleagues, the first interaction properly had with your female colleagues was the consumer fair at ICC, where I went to the booth in Naiseata because I was insecure about my beauty kan way back. I didn't know if Fauzan would be the person yang would show me. At the back of my head, I had this feeling that maybe he wouldn't want to show me to the world because I'm not pretty. Cuma itulah, I had that in mind. I was pleasantly surprised when I came to the booth. Fauzan was telling his colleagues like, "Hey guys, meet my wife, Sarah." Kata sekali aku macam, "Oh." Kata macam, and then I had good conversation with his female colleagues. Like, alhamdulillah, we managed to go to their house time raya apa. So, would love to keep that relationship alive. It goes on even when you were in Indra Motors, and this one was at Bridex. There was I don't know if it was a consumer fair as well, but you introduced me to your colleague, Sime, and hey, this is my wife. And I really appreciate that lah, even to your JPMC colleagues. So for me, I treasure those moments where we're just open about who the colleagues are. We get to introduce each other.
Because I think it's just a normal thing to do for a husband.
Really? There could be those type of husbands who didn't want people to know that he's married. He didn't rubbish the wife.
Yeah, talking about that, now that you mention it, I think for every new place I go to, I normally would like wear a ring for the first few days.
Because the ring that we got for our marriage is too big, longgar on him.
There's a chance that you use it, especially on the wudu, you go to the toilet, you have to take it off it balik, and then
That's a good reason to share. Daripada you don't share and then people will be like, oh, you know, pakai ring, you don't want to look like you're married.
Yeah, I mean, my WhatsApp says I love my wife, so. Are you familiar with the term work wife? Inda, okay. So basically it's a term, I don't know how normal this is outside of Brunei or in Brunei. It's kind of macam you have a wife at work. Basically it's a kind of like a relationship. But it's a term, like work.
Really?
Yeah, it's a term.
I've never heard about it.
Yeah, you should look into it. Macam ita. Yeah, like you have a wife at work. And then when you go home you have wife. Yeah.
I think people with hearing this would just be more suspicious now. Like,
yeah, but considering that it actually becomes an actual term that people use, maksudnya it's happening like that.
And it's something for both of us that we'd like to avoid. So if there's a work wife, there could potentially be a work husband. So let's not put it all to just one gender lah. Both sides should be held equally responsible. One of the good things that we do also is open communication. There are times at work where I need to go to another location. To go there, I needed to join a male colleague lah. Before I put out this point, I do know that there are some husbands yang wouldn't allow their wife to go in a car with the opposite gender. Ideally, it should be the same jua for us kan. It just happens that because there's no other people going, I needed to be in the same ride lah. Before that happens, I would tell Fauzan awal, call him like, hey, I have to go to this place. Because of that, I have to join my colleague. I have to tell my male colleague as well that I choose to sit at the back. The reason why is I want to avoid fitnah because people can just look and be like, Sarah is in a car with another person. If I were to sit di depan, it would just create fitnah probably. That's why I wish to be more open to him. Jarang ulang these cases occur. Ideally, I can have my own transport and drive myself, but there are certain times where I am required. Because of another transport, I have to join my colleague.
I think it's the beauty of Islam where Islam teaches us that a wife should ask permission from the husband whenever you want to go outside of the house. It's basically the same thing like macam when you're moving from a place to another, from your normal office to a different location, you should be like asking for permission, especially when you are going to a car with another guy. It's great that we have that communication. And yeah, I do appreciate it. The same goes to me. There were times where I had to go into the same car with another lady, especially when it comes to a person our age. I do like have to text you, what's up? saying that I will be in a car with another woman when we have to do errands and it's unavoidable. In my case, I'm the one who's driving. Shout out to my colleague. I had to ask her to sit at the back. The next time that we had to go into the same car again, she just said something along the lines of, "It's okay, I'll sit at the back." So I really do appreciate my colleagues understanding it. Yeah. You might feel like it's awkward, tapi people can understand sebenarnya.
Like, you don't have to over-explain it.
I don't think I actually explained it to her. But I think the reason why this is important, satu, is you don't know who's looking at you. So imagine me driving with a woman of my age.
Who's not Sarah.
Who's not Sarah, in a car. So when other people see you, some people might just have positive thoughts, but some might have negative thoughts, like, who's this woman Fauzan is driving with? Just to avoid that, have the women to sit at the back.
There was a time where you told me after you went home, in reflection, you told me that you went out for lunch with 3 of your colleagues. 2 are male, 2 were male, 1...
2 were male?
Two male and 1 female.
All right.
So because of that, you told me in the end, the female had to sit at the front because it wouldn't be comfortable for her to sit with male at the back. He told me a bit late, tapi I understood the situation, and I appreciate you telling me rather than not telling me.
It depends on who you're with, Leja. I remember with person who was older, biar itu didapat saja. Because like in that situation, it's a bit less concerning that people would to have bad thoughts lah.
But that's your context to someone, maybe an older lady kan. But to women in general, men of any age, unless he's a little child it would still arouse suspicion.
That's true.
Unless the person is the father. Yeah, you have to pikir apa-apa yang boleh mengundangkan fitnah, think through. Best practice is to be really open. Like we said, ideally if we can avoid it, we should. Right now, we live in a world where social media is such a big thing. I would say majority, individually, the husband and the wife would have their own social media account. The interaction within social media also counts. It's not just the physical one, but even the digital one could affect the trust in the relationship. There was a time where early in our marriage, the first year of our marriage, when I was at work, sekali masa lunch, when I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw you liking this aesthetic photo with a woman in the middle. And this woman wasn't properly covered. When I saw that, I was actually macam chana, my emotions were like, kan marah lah. Because like, why is my husband liking a photo of another woman? At the back of my head, like, I married a guy who's supposedly practicing the deen, right? Sekali ko macam lihat, he likes a photo of this lady. I remember what I did was I screenshot it and send it to Fauzan. I asked him, why did you like this photo? You don't remember, do you?
I remember it, but I can't really recall what the photo was like.
After that, putting context into it, the photographer and the owner of the account that uploaded the photo was his friend. And that time he was a freelancer, kan? He took wedding photograph. He definitely has a lot of photographer friends. One of the photographer friend uploaded this photo. The photo was really nice, aesthetic. He said he liked it because of the aesthetic kan. After balik rumah, I told you it's fine to like a photo for aestheticism. Tapi my problem was that there's a woman in that photo. This person is not properly covered. If people were to see him liking the photo, question mark macam, I would question his integrity as a thriving Muslim. To me, macam,
it wasn't modest.
It wasn't modest, yeah. I was glad that I pushed my ego aside, didn't throw out accusations at him. I wanted to learn, kenapa educate me why you like this photo. Kita he mentioned, it's a photo of a friend, and then aesthetic, and benar lah if I look at it. And then it opened up that discussion that I would prefer that he doesn't go around liking photos of other women. I tend to see married men liking photos of celebrities, which is fine, you can like celebrities. Tapi when the photos are just very not modest, very sexy, I don't know what your wife thinks about it. Just going back to my marriage, I wouldn't want Fauzan to do it lah.
What if the woman's wearing modest clothing?
It depends on the context lah. If you follow women in your Instagram who are covered, they share an achievement, they share their photo of having an award and you like it, I would definitely be okay with it. But if it's just properly covered have that woman with a caption of like hanging out with my friends and that you like the photo, I would be like, what's the point? Why are you liking this photo? I would give the same benchmark to myself. If I were to like a photo of another man who's maybe not wearing a shirt, showing abs, would you like that?
I mean, I would maybe like that photo, but I wouldn't like. Yeah, I wouldn't like you to like that photo.
Yeah, or if sekiranya I'm obsessed with K-pop idols, can every single image of this person I like, what do you think?
Yeah, it brings jealousy, I think.
And it could bring jealousy. So people might not see it as much, tapi these things could undang fitnah. We live in a society, especially now with the social media, people can just see what we do. Sekiranya we put it out there that we're a married Muslim couple, but you start seeing activities from our Instagram, from our other social media. Yeah, he likes a lot of women's photos. I like a lot of male photos. Yeah, it's no proper context. We're just questionable with our integrity, what we bring, our values. I really appreciate you taking my feedback about liking the photo. And this happened in our first year of marriage. It was actually really hard to do it, but I had to do it.
Yeah, talking about social media as well. And I think previously we were talking about how we have husbands who kind of hide their wife from the world due to not wanting to know that he's married. But for myself, I don't really show you that much in my social media as well. And this is by choice because I personally do not like to show my personal life to the world. Like I know some people who almost show everything, like what they eat, where they go to, who they hang out with. And to do this daily, some people are more inclined to, share these kind of things. For me, we're protecting ourselves from like the evil eye. We're not gonna talk about that today. Basically I think satu is from the evil eye, but you also don't want to just post things without adding value to it. Like when people look at your photos, let's say it's full, and then you're not sharing it with the person, kan?
Yeah.
But I guess you're helping other businesses, and
And with that comment, ita too, like, why is Fauzan not sharing much? Is it because I'm not pretty enough? All that insecurity started to come out, kan? Tapi after a while, I think I'm glad that you don't share about our lives. And even masa kita ni baru-baru kahwin, I actually thought we were gonna turn out to be the vloggers yang vlog most of the things about our life. Like we go to a kedai makan, we vlog about it. We go to another country, we'd vlog about it. Tapi I realized, no, I don't want that because I've seen relationships suffer because when you tend to put yourself out on camera too much, your relationship doesn't become authentic anymore. So I would rather avoid it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Asian couples who awal-awal, they vlog together. Sekali after a while, they put out a video and say, they're not together anymore. I think that's the reason why I like this vlog to be more of a reflection base rather than, putting everything real time. So, ani kira we were learning from our mistakes lah. Tapi another point dyan yang pasal sharing ito, after a while, I thought like I'll share, most of our photos together. But in the end, I realized, no, I don't want to do that because we have different demographics in our Instagram followers. And I know not everyone is married and most of them are married. Not everyone has children. For me, I just rather not share too much because boleh, you said evil eye, tapi ya boleh mengundang rasa macam left out. I mean, I'm not responsible for it, but I'd rather not want another person to experience it because I felt it. Like when I was at the age where people around me were getting married, I felt like, aku nada person. This is just me personally not wanting other people to experience that lah. Or macam when we post a certain food yang mungkin mahal, not everyone can afford it. So I'd rather not. And again, this is just a personal opinion for both of us. Last time I asked you, I forgot how I phrased it, but I asked you to do macam, can you tell me one thing that would make me jealous? Sekali initially you were like, nada. Sekali I probed again, are you sure, nada? And then after that you said, okay, maybe if you take photo with your male colleague, just both of you.
What did I say?
You would be jealous if I were to take a photo with a male colleague and it's just both of us in that shot. I apologize in advance. This person is my boss and he's leaving. And you get mad?
I don't know. Because I personally don't take photos with women. I mean, like, just to talk what's in the photo. I normally avoid that. I guess I cannot just expect the same from the other lady.
Okay. Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, because I don't remember the last time.
Ada, when you won Brunei music video, sekali, there was someone like a female fan.
Like once in like a 5-year relationship. I don't even have the photo.
For another story, but your team won the Brunei music video BMZ award last December and you performed kan di MP Theater. Kali after that, they won and whatnot. There were a few people lining up to take photo with Fauzan. Kali I was just there, ako macam, what am I feeling now? I didn't know what I felt. I wasn't jealous at Ida, tapi aku macam just like...
I was probably jealousy to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what else could you be feeling? What else could you be feeling right there?
But I would love to see you interact with your fans, kan, because they appreciate your music.
I'm not sure if they were my fans, but it's you for now. I mean, yeah, but they did take photos.
Yeah, they did take photos. For me, I look up to very good supportive bosses who I work with, and kadang they move to different positions. And when you do farewell, I tend to want to take like a commemoration photo with this person who has supported me in my career. So if I bring someone else in the photo, which the story doesn't add up. Yeah, but it's not all the time. Certain occasion calls for it.
I think in the end, trust is established with good communication, being transparent.
To be honest with you, not all marriages are like that open communication. And I really think when you're in a relationship, put all the ego aside. Really just voice out your concerns lah. Although you should pick the right timing, but you shouldn't wait too long jua. But hey, you married each other for a reason, kan? With all that said, it's not always happy moments. There were moments like these. Yeah, we managed to talk it through and learn from each other on how to do things better. Even if we claim to be this practicing Muslim, tapi individually, there's definitely weaknesses, and that's where we need to complement each other. And to complement each other, we need to be open to communicate about it. Thank you for the past 5 years.
I say this to people I freelance for. Thank you for trusting.
I'm not your client, I'm your wife.
Provide the service of a husband.
To me only.
Yeah, and like I said, thank you for trusting me. So thank you so much for listening to us. It was probably mostly Sarah. But we do appreciate you listening in. We hope that you've benefited from this. So this has been the 13th episode of Intertwined. See you next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wapan actual sih macam tiptoe, macam as if when I check your phone, you're gonna be marah.
Okay. Nice.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the right... Is that an idiom? Can't check. But you get what I mean, guys.